This is Hockey Talk. It's time for the Gamblers Match Game.
I always love coming into that music. It is Hockey Talk here on WNFL. Jason Abick, along with the head coach and general manager of the Green Bay Gamblers, getting ready for the Eastern Conference semifinals here at the Resch Center. Pat Mickish joining me. Of course, Scott is off today. And we are joined by Green Bay Gamblers forward Ryan Smith and Cam Lee. Gentlemen, how you doing? So here's how we're going to do it today. We mix it up a little bit. I think we do this every show because I just can't make up my mind, Kyle, on what I want to do with this. But we're going to match. We got 8 scenarios here. Player most likely to ... And I want you to match up the player on our team this year that's most like that. So without further ado, let's get into our first question. And both of you guys can answer this. I know you guys have taken a look at this already. But I want to know, player most likely, who's that guy to secretly love chick flicks on the team? Who's got that soft side?
I'm probably going to have to go with Andrew Peak. He's pretty soft when it comes to that stuff. Like some different shows. And
That's from one defenseman to another. What do you think, Ryan?
I got to go with Matt Berkovitz. Him and Peak are roommates on the road, and they watch Vampire Diaries together. So that's pretty soft. So they probably watch some chick flicks as well.
Wow, that just came out. I'm shocked. All right. I like it. It's a good way to start. Player most likely to go for a long time without sleeping. Who's the guy that can go a long time without sleeping on the team?
I'm probably going to have to go with a guy right next to me, Ryan Smith. I mean, he likes to play some video games. He'll stay up late and do that. And so,
Ryan, do you have a rebuttal to that?
No, not really. I'm kind of a night owl, but Luke Bafia stays up late as well. We play video games together a lot.
What's the game of choice?
We play Call of Duty.
Hey, there you go. I got to ask you guys. You guys dyed your hair this year. Have some different haircuts. Is that a team thing or?
Yeah, we got in our locker room a lot of the past champions and stuff, and most of the time they win it, they have their hair dyed. So we're all doing it this year. We're all in. So
it's a good omen to have because in 2011-12 they won the Clark Cup championship with that. I like to see that though. You got some crazy looks going on, and I think Kyle's going to shoot some pictures that'll go out on social media. So that's great. All right. I want to know who has the baby face on the team. Player most likely to get ID'd still when they're 30 years old.
I'm going to go with Cam. He's I don't think he's shaved in his 19 years, and he's got a pretty little baby face, so go with Cam.
I'm going to have to go with myself, too. Everyone on the team can get some facial hair going, but me. So,
is there a guy on the team that's growing the playoff beard? Or I mean, I look at some of the guys and just like I don't think it's happening.
Coach Aldridge has that covered for everybody, I think.
Yeah, Kevin Reich's had a beard all year. He doesn't really look good with that one, so he's got one going.
He's been ready for the thanks, Kyle. He's been ready for the playoffs all year. All right. Question 4, player most likely to sleep their way through college. Of course, you guys, next step is college for most of you guys. So, of course, you guys are going to big schools too. So I just want to see who's that guy.
That's kind of a tough one. Everyone on our team works pretty hard. I don't really want to sewer anyone. Probably have to go with Boff, though. He's not the brightest kid in the bunch, but he works hard.
That's so nice. Really, why he's not, but he's a nice guy.
Yeah.
I'll have to go with Kevin Reich. He's not even going to college, so and he's probably the laziest out there. So
this has turned awful. Mick is head coach is turning his head right now. Just what is going on?
I actually think they're completely wrong. I think Ryan Blankmeyer's got the most likely chance because he's the brilliant one. I mean, he's the one with a 35 on his ACT. He's going to be able to afford to sleep his way through college and still do fine.
A guy with his hairdo, though, he needs to have a 35 on his ACT. Did you see that thing?
Yeah.
That's crazy. All right. Number 5, player on the team with the worst taste in music.
I'll have to go with Adam Huska. He's Slovakian, so he listens to the weird Euro techno stuff.
Is that how he gets into the zone, or I mean, is he try to force it on you guys?
No, he dances around in the locker room quite a bit, but he's always got his headphones on, so you never really know what he's playing.
I gotta say, walking into the locker room, I hear some different type of music, all the way from the Euro techno or tech whatever do you guys listen to, but also some soft stuff too. What do you think, Cam?
I'm gonna have to go with the Germans, Mark and Kev. They've played some German rap that we listen to, and
Not a fan.
yeah, no one's a fan of it.
What's one song on your iPod or whatever, your phone, that people are like, I wouldn't believe you would have that song on your phone? What's that one song that you're like, I don't want a lot of people to know that I listen to this, but I do. It's like a guilty pleasure.
Probably Hands to Myself by Selena Gomez.
He got Kyle on board. Yeah, there you go, Kyle. There you go. What do you think, Cam?
I don't know, maybe some Colby Calais, Taylor Swift, something like that. Yeah.
I think everybody kind of has some sort of Taylor Swift
I'm real
on there.
open about my music.
Player most addicted to Snapchat or Twitter?
Chris Grando, he's never put his phone down ever, so always Snapchat and everything. So it's got to be him.
What do you think, Ryan?
Yeah, Grando's the obvious one here. He's glued to his phone 24/7.
See, I must be old because I must be old. I don't even Snapchat. So I know Jeff Weintraub does a lot of Twitter.
Yes.
He does a lot of updating on Twitter.
Deep on Twitter.
It is deep. It is deep. That's for sure.
why I don't follow him on Twitter.
All right. Player most likely to laugh at the most inappropriate time.
I gotta go with John Leonard here. He always just thinks of stuff that's happened in the past or that was said earlier, and he just always laughs out of nowhere. So I gotta go with him.
I'm going with Dunner. He's kind of, I don't know. He's just the guy. He's just a big rookie. So he's he'd do that.
All right. Here we go. Question number 8. And the last one for you guys here tonight. Player most likely to be late for a team function. And Pat's thinking over there, nobody better be late for a team function.
Yeah, no one's really late. We've had Grando's missed a few PK meetings, but that's about it. Everyone's usually on time, pretty responsible about that.
Yeah, I couldn't answer that one.
Coach Mickish runs a tight ship, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Well, congratulations on making the playoffs. I know you guys were part of this team last season, and last year was kind of a rebuilding year. But overall, it's got to feel great for you guys to take this next step and get in the playoffs. I know your job's not done, but ultimately, it's a great feeling to get to that next level.
Yeah, it definitely feels good. It's a long season, and just to be here still playing, knowing that it all paid off, it feels good, and we're just ready to take the next step.
Because I know, in Cam, I'll ask you this, 60 games is a grind. You know, when you go through the regular season, it is a grind. You guys go on a lot of road trips, but ultimately you play until this point, and this is actually when it becomes fun, right? I know the season is fun, but when you get to playoff hockey, I mean, this gets amplified even more, and it becomes a lot more fun.
Yeah, definitely. We worked hard to get here, so we're gonna enjoy it all and take it all in.
Well, we appreciate your time, guys. We're going to step out for a break. Good luck the rest of the way here as the Green Bay Gamblers get set for the Eastern Conference semifinals. We're going to take a break. When we return, we're going to look at the state of hockey in Canada with Pat Mickish. This is Hockey Talk on WNFL. And I'll bring Pat Mickish into the conversation here, and I want to talk. And we were talking off air a little bit, we really wanted to get Scott Jewett's comments on this because he's from Canada. He's from Ontario, Canada. And I think a little part of me is like, I'm going to duck this conversation as much as possible because this is a hot button issue for Canadians, Pat. So I think he kind of ducked this a little bit.
Yeah, I know we actually had it all planned out a couple weeks ago.
We did.
We had
He
the
was
short
angry.
show, and he was like, this is going to be tough to talk about. But it's one of those hot topics right now in hockey and anywhere you're reading, if you're reading the hockey news or ESPN, they're talking about, is this good for the game as far as, because the Canadian markets are so strong and the fan bases. But at the same time, to me, you see it in the States, and there's not going to be an empty building. I mean, Florida is so excited to have the playoffs back, and they're going to be flying. Tampa Bay is going to be a great environment. And then, I mean, you've got both New Yorks in. So the hockey markets are here in the States. Obviously, those Canadian markets are, they're struggling right now with their teams, but they're going to be back. I mean, this is a one-time, and I think 1970 was the last time this happened.
Should they push the panic button, though, because 1993 was the last time that a Canadian team won the Stanley Cup?
Well, I mean, they could push it a little bit, but I mean, it's nothing other than the fact that it's been a little trickier. I mean, the LA markets have been so strong with Anaheim and LA, and I mean, San Jose's been a playoff team just about every year. But the Canadian teams have been on that fringe. They just haven't had that team that's been over the top. And one of the key ones is Toronto, which has been in the lull. And, it's such a great market. They want to get that one back up there.
The one team that I'm flabbergasted by, the Edmonton Oilers, who have 4 players selected number 1 in the NHL draft, and yet they haven't been able to put it together yet. And that's a team that has a rich history leading back to the 80s.
And we've talked about it on this show before. I mean, finding those true superstars. And I think they have one in McDavid. So I think they have one of those huge pieces now that it will take to win. And, but I mean, some of their other picks, they just weren't true superstars when they got them. And they weren't Crosby. They weren't Malkin. They weren't Taves. So you're picking first, but that doesn't guarantee you that you're drafting a player that's going to be a franchise changing player.
Now, taking a look at it, too, on the flip side, is this because, too, the popularity of hockey in the United States has grown?
Well, I think the game
better
has
players,
grown.
et cetera, et cetera.
I mean, it's still a draft system, and for whatever reason, I mean, Vancouver was so close. I mean, their window might just be closing on them winning a Stanley Cup. I mean, they had their run with the Sedins where they were there and they could have won in any one of those years. Montreal lost their goalie this year. They were in first place when their goalie went out. Carey Price stays healthy all year. The Montreal Canadiens might be one of the favorites going into the playoffs right now. So that's how quickly things can change. And, but it's Edmonton and Calgary and Ottawa, those teams haven't been where they want to be. Winnipeg, I thought, is going in the right direction. They had to make some franchise decisions this year by trading Ladd and whatnot at the deadline. But I don't think they're that far off from being a serious playoff contender.
No, absolutely. And I want to talk a little bit about the playoffs in general, too, when you look at it. I'm really excited for the USHL in the first series. The Tampa Bay Lightning, of course, John Cooper's the head coach of the Green Bay Gamblers, ties back here to Green Bay. But also on the flip side, you got the Detroit Red Wings, who have Jeff Blashill. And what I found funny, and one thing that I like looking back, is in John Cooper's first year in the USHL, it was Jeff Blashill that knocked him out of the playoffs to win the Clark Cup. John Cooper returned the favor in 2010 when the Gamblers won it. He knocked Jeff Blashill out. He went on to coach Western Michigan. John Cooper went on to the AHL and Norfolk Admirals. But that is going to be quite a little series.
And they're extremely close friends. And I mean, they spend summers together. They're in golf tournaments together. I mean, they've been in the Michigan area, and like Blash used to recruit when he was at Western Michigan. How many of Cooper players he was trying to get to go and play there. So it's a great relationship, and I'm sure they're probably not as excited about it as we are that they get to go head to head in their first playoff. But I know both of them are excited to be there, and excited about where their teams are at as far as they've arrived. But Detroit was slipping at the end of the year. Tampa had those
major injuries,
which are going to be weighing on them. So that'll be an interesting series. And I also want to mention Dave Haxtell.
That's the other one.
USHL coach that spent the majority of the 12 years at North Dakota after leaving Sioux City. But what a great story he did with turning around Philadelphia in 1 year and getting that team into the playoffs. And they're kind of an up and coming team right now which overachieved this year.
It's unbelievable that the USHL has 3 former coaches, not only to coach in the NHL, but to lead their team to the playoffs. Jeff Blashill in his first year, Haxtell in his first year, of course, John Cooper in his second year led the Tampa Bay Lightning to the Stanley Cup Finals.
And I know it's great for all of us. And, and I know the college coaches are extremely excited about the fact that, Jeff Blashill coached at Western Michigan and moved up as well. And Dave Hackstill going through the North Dakota ranks, because it's not just USHL coaches that are moving on now. It's the college coaches are really being recognized as, being ready for that next step. And which 5-10 years ago, they never would have even been thought about.
But it's even different, Pat, and you can contest this. Even in our league, you guys are coaching kids that are making that jump from our league all the way up to the American Hockey League in some regards. Or a guy like Nick Schmaltz, who may or may not sign, or the Kyle Connors of the world that just signed with the Winnipeg Jets after 1 year with the Michigan Wolverines. That's a credit to the coaches in the USHL. Where the USHL has come from, say when they turned Tier 1 to now. But that's great. This league has changed. You're seeing a lot better coaches in the USHL, and you're seeing a heck of a lot better players.
It's hard to explain, but 2 years from now, kids that are in this league are going to be in the NHL. And
Unbelievable.
It's year in, year out now. It's happening, and we're excited to be part of it. It's fun to work with these players and develop these players, but and it's not just one or two organizations in our league. It's every team. Every team is moving people on, and Kyle Connor a year ago, we were worried about how we were going to match up against them and who was going to be out there on the ice when he was out there, and now he's signing an NHL contract and moving on.
What's funny about that, and real quick before we go to a break, a guy that we played when Eric Rude was here in the 2000, it was the Dubuque Fighting Saints, Johnny Gaudreau, and you look at him in our league, you're like, there's no way he's going to make it to the NHL. Small kid. I thought he was just going to get wrecked, and he is a kid that has lit it on fire in the NHL.
And he does it year after year now. It wasn't just a one-time flash, and that's why, like the NHL scouting final rankings just came out, and to see the players in our league and how high they've climbed up in the draft is remarkable, and it's just a testament to all the dedication that the organizations are putting into these kids.
Well, even look at a guy that we have here, defenseman Andrew Peak, who's ranked 57. I thought he is a heck of a skater, and to have him ranked 57th in North America and have USHL guys above, that's a credit to the talent level.
It is, and there's players that weren't even listed earlier in the year, like the Colton kid from Cedar Rapids and Rem Pitlick, and now they're being talked about as second, third round picks, and it's just a testament to the kids and going through this league.
Unbelievable. Well, we're going to step out for a break.